Limiter. I like the bomb factory in here, but the limiter is going to do the exact opposite of a compressor in the same similar kind of way. But a compressor takes the loud passes and brings them down to the low passes. A limiter brings the low passes and brings them up to the high passes. So if you want a little more excitement on this, we're going to start using a limiter.
That camera lens through my city, yeah, right. If we cool, then check the deuce. If we ain't, then still fuck you. And on my block, it still stays hot. Still grind, still hustle, yeah, that's what I do. So if you say you're real, but you're not prepared to get got the switch up.
See, now with the limiter, I mean, I just want to understand it's the same kind of principle. The more input I'm bringing in, the more that this bomb factory is going to limit it down. So if you want a lot of smash on here, I mean, the more we input this signal, the more this thing's going to smash. Now, the ratio here is 4-to-1, and the attack and release is quite similar. So, I mean, you need to play with these things in a sense to where it tailors to your vocals. Now, I hate to say it this way, but I cannot teach you how to listen to this stuff. I mean, I could sit here all year long and do these kind of videos, but it's on you to find your own uniqueness. That's why every mixing engineer is different. Everybody has a different way of doing this. Snoop Dogg's engineer has a different way. He's pretty similar to me in a sense, because, you know, I've watched a video on him, and I thought I was watching myself, and that was what was really scary, because I was doing most of the stuff he was doing without even thinking about it, and it might have been just, you know, the way I went through this journey of audio and found, hey, this works better, this sounds better, that sounds better. And you know, you build this own little arsenal of tools you go to. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, limiting, compression, and EQ. I mean, EQ first, so you can EQ out the bad stuff. Compressor, so you can control what you have from the EQ. And then a limiter if you need it. I mean, if you need it. Don't start limiting. Don't always do these steps. If you're happy with the vocal after the compression, go with it. Not every vocal needs compression, but in hip hop, a lot of times you want that loud banging track. You're going to have to compress the track, and that's the key. I mean, now if you don't have access to Avalons and Manleys, now let me put the Avalon back on where this was, and listen to this vocal. I mean, it's a lot different.
That camera lens through my city, yeah, right. If we cool, then check the deuce. If we ain't, then still fuck you. And on my block, it still stays hot. Still.
See, now the Avalon just brought a totally different sound to me personally, and it brought this heavy, just hip hop sound. And you know, I'm clocking it from a Big Ben, and that's what people want to pay for, and that's what you pay mixing engineers for, is that right there. So I hope you find this interesting. I really do. I hope you take this and understand that you can start at home. You can start at home with a piece of equipment like this. I'll show you. You know, I get excited about this stuff because this is, you know, this is my livelihood, and it's like hard to get people to just open up about this. But you have over here, you have the new Avid M box, and you have a Sony Bio, and there's been a lot of times that I take beats or production or anything from this little setup over here. I mean, you got a backup hard drive, you got this, it's got nice ADDAs, it's got you know, it's got everything you can do just to get your sound in. But if you want me to add an insert like an Avalon on it, it is going to benefit your sound as well as me doing things on, you know, just unconscious in a sense of taking EQs and dropping things out, or you know, working on the whole dynamics of the song and being able to listen to it through some Yamaha NS10s and just something you might not have had a chance to do. And I don't want people to get discouraged in their budgets, like maybe I just don't have the budget to do this. We want to make it possible so you can do this, and that's the whole theory here. I mean, we got small little pieces of equipment. I can take your music to other studios. If you said, you know what, I was at this studio, I like these Linksys Auroras. Well, let's go to that studio with the Linksys Auroras. And I've been in studios where the guy that's running this big equipment is getting paid $9 an hour, and I mean, God bless that guy. But he was not intended to make you a Grammy mix. He's intended to get your stuff in, record it, and then the mixing engineer comes in and has the wisdom to understand that we need to do this, we need to do that. And if then you still don't like the track, go find another mixing engineer. I mean, if you have a mixing engineer that you say, hey, I need this done, and they can't do it, and you're paying a bunch of money, that might screw you out of a whole career because you think that's what all mixing engineers do, and that's not the case. A great solid mixing engineer is open to every idea you have and trying to paint it on the wall every time that you say it, and might have a little bit of disagreement. Or if you heard on the cell phone conversation, there's certain times when you'll record and you got to know how to talk to somebody. Like, dude, I'm not saying to re-record it because you suck. I'm saying to re-record it because you can do it this way, in a sense, and you don't even bring these things out. But when you get in a good relationship with a person, they understand, yeah, you're right. Like, I could have added this, this to my voice, or I could have done this to my voice, and you're right. And the people that will heed to that kind of instruction, especially if you don't have a producer, the engineer can become your producer in the studio environment. So there's been so many darn times where there's so many darn times that people come in and they have this thing in their head that they just can't get it out of there. And I've made it so they heard that same thing in their head through those speakers, and they get amazed. Their jaw drops because it's like it came to life. And if you're a band, you don't need a bunch of equipment to record. You don't need a bunch of equipment to mix, like a big 24 channel mixer. You don't need that. All you need is to get a high-end recording and a great mixing engineer, an awesome mastering engineer, and you're on your way to making solid albums. And you do need to be a flipping good musician, because you got to work on that. Let us work on this. Hopefully these videos help anybody out there that's looking to get in to making high-end professional results on a budget, not a 20, 30,000. I've seen studios where you got 15, 20 grand wrapped up in a project, and it didn't go any further than projects that I personally did. And it makes me laugh because you might spend 3, 4 grand getting it done correct. I might even knock costs down and try to get it in your budget. I've done it. I've cut my costs from where I'm rated as 40 an hour to 50 an hour, and I'm doing things for $10 an hour just so people can get their foot in the door. That doesn't mean that everybody can come to me with a straw end deal. I believe if you have the money and you have the money to spend, I will give you every last dime of what that money was worth in your recording project. I mean, I might spend 15, 20 hours on a track, and I know when to say when. There's a lot of engineers that are right in that mid stage and not knowing when to say when, and they push you to the limits, and all of a sudden you got a crappy album. You got to know that this is a physical, emotional, mental game, and you get weathered and you sort of become comfortably numb, like that Pink Floyd song says. So hopefully you learn something. Well, get ready for this whole shindig. I sort of think this is important to capture for this video. I'm going to explain to you. I don't know where to sit in this video, so I'm going to bend over real quick. Not like that, you people. Dudes, man, there's some dude like, he gonna bend over. I meant bend over so you can see me. But I got Western Digital 1 terabyte. I'm going to hook it up to my laptop behind me for everything. I use a 1 terabyte. I don't use it for my recording. I use it to back up my recording. It is worth a $99 investment to get a 1 terabyte hard drive to back your stuff up. You don't have to stream audio from this. You can actually just back stuff up, and when it's time to start recording, dump it back onto another hard drive that's faster. So why do I do that? You got people's stuff, man. Somebody might ask you for the Pro Tools session or something. You go, well, dude, I don't have it no more. Always try to find a backup source and back your crap up. I got all my plugs in here, all my programs. I've learned from experience. When you lose something and you don't have it backed up, you get ticked off and you feel like it's the end of the world. So think about that. That's one thing. Just to put in this video. Wisdom, man. Hey, what's up, YouTube? My name's Doug Jenkins.